And we can just dance the night away until we get no more. Shake all the hurt away so you can feel and forget who you used to be. For just tonight, could you just dance the night away?
All right. So this is going to be the video that's describing Artificer. As I said before, with the other first two videos about fishing, is that Artificer and cookie are a nice additive to make your fishing more profitable. It is not a requirement, so you can technically skip the next two videos on the topic, or specifically the ones labeled for Artificer and Chef as the topic of the video. Now, I do suggest if you really like fishing and you really want to be serious about it, then you might want to try and do these two things and max them out, because they're going to be useful for making you the most money back. And here's why. Now, to make this situation work, you need chefing to make Artificer work. In other words, to make the primers using Artificer, you actually need to have a garden box, which you get from Chef. Now, the reason I'm going to be doing Artificer first versus Chef compared is that Artificer really doesn't take much to get leveled up, and there's not any extra quirks to it. But Chef has an extra quirk to it, where there's an extra achievement situation that you have to complete in order to get from 400 to 500. So basically, Artificer is easier to do, even though in order to make Artificer work for fishing, you need chefing too. Now, if you're not interested in trying to max out chefing and Artificer and you'll just deal with using white fish and buying food, then by all means, this is fine. Just skip the videos about Artificer and chefing and you'll be fine. Now, I'm going to use a website that actually has a tutorial on it from showing you how to get from 0 to 400 or 500, depending on the profession's level max. I will put those in the description so you can look at them, and I will level up privately to get from one point to the next, because it's a boring process and you don't need to see it. It's not super interesting in that regard. But this is the Artificer in Lion's Arch. A little sermon with a little globe on his head. You talk to him, you tell him you want to know, he'll ask you if you want to be an Artificer, and you'll have a little money bag. I already asked him for it, and then he'll sell you supplies for artificing. Now, mostly little extra things you're upgrading. And then you'll be able to interact with the table. This works for all basic professions, and of each of them will stand by each other. They have little icons on their heads, and they represent different ones. So I'm sure if you've been to Lion's Arch, you know the deal, and if not, well, you now know the deal. So I'm gonna go from 0 to 500. I think it's 400 or 500 for Artificer, and I've already got all the mastery points I need for the first set of fishing, for fishing only. My husband took me around to get mastery points in SETI and a little bit over into the city, and so now I have those. I got all the insights for that. So we'll try and work with that, and as I said, that way, because when you're leveling, when you're doing the Artificer stuff, remember that this will actually give you XP. So if you're trying to, if you've got things like this, for me, and since I don't have everything out, always make sure to have at least a bar or two filled, so that, for instance, I have 18, so I have enough for T1, for T2, and T3, because I don't know how quickly the bar is going to fill up with XP, but this way you're not wasting XP. If at any point when you're doing a skill tree like this, and say you don't have enough, say you have 2 masteries, and you have a max bar, but you have another thing like this open, always click it to train it. You might as well max out the XP train. Try not to waste as much XP as you can. Don't get me wrong, it'll happen sometimes when you're just struggling with the last mastery set and you're wasting XP. But in that happens. Don't worry about that. But while you have options, because I have 2 options myself, try not to do that. So if you're choosing to level this up and you don't have this maxed out already, like how I do it, try to make sure you have mastery points, and if during like the leveling process on Artificer or chefing, say you get the max bar here and you don't have the masteries, stop crafting, pause it, and then go get some more masteries and then come back. That way you're not wasting the XP and you can use it. This is also another way you can kind of mine to level up your masteries and stuff, because it also gives you XP and it can make it really quickly. And you can also use it to level up your character from 1 to 80 as well. But I do suggest trying to make use of your XP because it just saves you some time and effort. So this is what we do. So like I said, I will pause the video here and I will come back when I have this all maxed out, and I will leave a link in the description for you to use this website as well so that you can get it to make it easier. Gives you a nice guideline and you waste less mats and money on trying to get from 1 to 100. And 1 second. All right, it took several hours, but I eventually got all the way up on the thing. As you can see, I still have 100 more to go, but for the purpose of making the primer, I only really need to be at 400. Now, as you see, I'm going to type in primer real quick, and you'll see that it doesn't pop up. Do not panic. This is because it only pops up if you have a garden plot, and the only way to do that is either to buy the Lion garden plots off the post, or doing the Chef Mastery. So we'll do the Chef Mastery, and then we'll get that done. But it did take me several hours to do that. Now, I'm about to say, the website I used shows like all of the ingredients you should use, all of the how much it's going to cost if you have to buy it all. If you have some of the mats already, then great. Then you don't have to worry too much. Now, that being said, allow me to show you something else involving your inventory. Whenever you're doing a leveling of any profession, doesn't matter what it is, you'll see that, like right now, I've obviously made top tier stuff. And before, my inventory was getting full. I've had players ask before, do I sell the things I craft or do I break them down? If you're using CraftNet's website on it, honestly, just break them down and get the materials back. There's very few things that are worth selling outright, and I've told people to break them down if you can. So for instance, we've got some rares here. You'll have finds and masteries and stuff. Use the right kits, obviously, I'm sure you know that. But just break them down because you have a chance. You have a chance of getting Ecto back. That was a great time. And Ecto's important. It's normally Ecto only comes from rare and exotic. But even with like Fine and Master, you also get things like luck. I'm hoping I can get some luck out of one of these, but I might not. And you can sell these if you want, but I'm going to break them down because I want the materials. And most people will go for superior runes. Now, Ecto is really important. Store it as much as you can. It can be used for stuff later. Now, I do have some luck from earlier. If you get luck and you're a new player and you have a very low magic find, eat it. Now here's why. It doesn't really affect, Magic Find does not affect fishing specifically, but it does affect the game in general. And I always suggest doing that because you're going to want the better loot. Also, you've probably noticed I have all these potions in here. Well, all these potions are from the profession involving Artificer. Because here's the thing about Artificer. Artificer basically has 3 things going for it, other than being able to later be able to craft primers if you have chefing. But it also helps you craft potions, and it also helps you craft luck, I think, right here. And this is important because then you can upgrade them. You can upgrade the luck to another tier, so instead of it being 50 luck, now it's 100 luck, and you can go all the way to making exotics. Now, this is important for later if you want to make legendary armor, and other gifts and a few other fun things. Also, you can just level up your luck and just eat it whole. Comes out the same. It also makes it where you can store it a little bit better for the most part. But yeah, this is something that's important. Now, being able to craft potions is also really important if you plan to farm research papers, which is another farm that people use as well. So this is important. And normally, in order for a research paper to work, it has to be a potion that's at least above a level 25, because it has to be like a certain rank. Yes, it can't be like a new one or I think above a novice level, but normally if it's a level 25 potion that you craft, you can break it. But if you don't know for sure, make one and then break it. Now, in order to break potions, you would go in here, and this is if you have, I think it's for if you have End of Dragons. I don't know if this will pop up on your menu if you don't have End of Dragons, because the research papers are only really used for, like, they're used for that and all the expansions past it, but it's like an aspect of it. Anywho, but it should be in there for sure if you have Ender Dragons. You'll say research stack, you know, and it'll break stuff down. And you do this, and it will turn into paper. I gotten 280, and I still have some of my pockets to break down just from sitting here leveling up Artificer. That's a pretty good stack right there. And like I said, it's a good form of income. You can use it for other things. Current wise, it doesn't necessarily affect fishing specifically, but it is a good way of doing it. And this is just another reason why Artificer is important, and you can make some decent gold off of it doing other things, because it's always good to have more than one gold farm to keep yourself above, you know, headboard. I'm trying to think if there was anything else I can remember about Artificer. This video is probably going to be relatively short because, like I said, I didn't sit here and let people watch the full nitty-gritty stuff of all of it, because it's not a big deal. Like I said, it took me about 2 or 3 hours. I was very particular though. I was watching very carefully, reading through the list and stuff. But you can see how I can't break these ones, right? This is because it's too low. On like this one right here is a level 10 requirement of level 10. It's too low on the spectrum to be on this. And this is also transformer tonic, and transformer tonics don't count. But like I said, if it's below a certain point, it's normally that. I think the lowest I've seen being breakable is 25. Because I couldn't tell you what novice is from one thing next. You can sell most of these. I'm gonna just try to trash them, because I don't see why anyone would need them or use them, because they don't do much. They're not really worth, like most new players are not using potions. And another thing is, you might be wondering, why would I use potions? Well, that's another thing. There's a specific potion that I have used before myself, and I'm going to showcase it. Also, any crafting materials that you have left, I made a mistake during it and have extra, you can sell them. I would, because someone's going to buy them. Now, here is one thing. I think it's like potent or something. It's a potion. I'll look for it. It's here somewhere. This is one, but there's also another one like it of a higher tier. It's down here. I might look it online and see. It might be one you can discover. Okay, let me look it up on the post. But there's a certain potion that's craftable, because I crafted on my main character. I want to say it's potent something. It's like, instead of it being... Yeah, it's like potent slaying. I want to say it's demon slaying? Yeah, okay, that is it. Okay, they must have changed it. Okay, so demon slaying here, you'll notice it's kind of relatively cheap, but you can use this to do farming and stuff. It's good for like fighting demons, cryptids, and titan spawn. There are other potions like it. If you are fighting something, or you're in an area and you're struggling, you can use these to help you fight certain monsters, especially like centaurs and ice brew and you know what. And it just gives you something to eat, and it helps with it. But another thing is, these potions are oftentimes used during events like the Halloween event that's coming up, and it's also one of the things people use when they try to farm for karma. One of the favorite farm karmas I've seen involves killing Inquest on one of the Living World 4 maps, and you have to pop one of these, and then you can do food if you want, and a banner. Banner's always just a nice little touch. And then you go around killing things, and it helps. Now, I don't remember if it was potent demon slaying specifically, or if it was potent something. It was, maybe it's like a potent slaying thing. It's a red potion. But, as I said, you can pick any kind of level of, like if you're going to kill some Nightmare Court, you know, this helps kill them faster. Gives you a little bit of damage towards them. So if you're struggling with a particular enemy, then there you go. But there are also some farms, so if you're going to farm, say, inquests for weeklies or something, this can just give you a hand. And being able to craft them just makes it easier. Also, on top of that, you can craft these, which is the turning crystals, and I think these as well. I think there's more. You can do these as well. These are also good for raids and things. So Artificer is very useful for having things you can craft to make kind of boof you up a little bit when you're kind of on your own. So it's kind of worth it for that purpose, along with just a few little nitpicks. And obviously you can make a focus and scepter and staff and tridents. Those things are just kind of to be expected. But what makes Artificer unique is the fact that you can craft potions, and you can mess with luck, and you also have the ability to do the primers, and you can make utilities for yourself. And utilities matter because they give you a little bit of extra damage boostings and stuff. It's just kind of a help you up there on that foot. Also, there are some times there's a daily or a weekly that requires you to eat or have a primary on, or a utility on, and it's just kind of nice to be able to go and make yourself a sharpening stone, consume it, and then go kill things, right? Instead of having to buy it off the market. Also, it's not going to make or break your game if you choose to do Artificer or not. You can get away with it just fine. It's not like anything crazy, but there's the pros and cons to it. I will get to doing chefing now. Now, we'll get up to chefing up to the point of where the achievement thing comes in. Because chefing is one of the only professions that actually has a second half. Basically, you do, I think it's like 1 to 400, which gets you like some stuff. But if you want to start crafting things, there's an achievement after that to get you from 400 to 500 that essentially gives you a garden plot. It gives you the power to be able to plant your own garden stuff, and it's a long achievement stuff. So we'll probably be doing that in 2 different parts. It'll probably be a part of that where it's just the normal leveling. It'll be like this, where I just kind of explain the importance of it and the things you can do with it. Then there's a cut from 1 to 0 kind of thing, or 1 to 100 kind of thing, and that will be that one. And then the next video of that will probably be me doing that achievement, because it's a lot, and I also am probably not going to be able to get it done in time for it to matter on this tune, because if I remember correctly, it to get max cooking, it's always, I think one of the vendors you have to encounter is during Winter's Day. I mean, Winter's Day is coming up. I just don't know if I'll for sure. But if something comes up and we can't finish the next part until Winter's Day, we'll continue on with fishing and stuff, and continue on with all of the progress towards it. And like I said, it's not a big deal. If you don't have cooking or artificer for fishing, it's not going to negatively affect you. It's just going to make you cost a little extra. So instead of being able to, like the jerky for instance, might cost you a gold extra, and then the fish food will add up eventually, but it's not going to kill you, and it's not going to break your costs, and you'll still be making about 20 gold an hour pretty easily by the end of it, and you'll probably be making more than that, so it's not a huge deal. So if this crafting stuff is too pressure inducing, or you don't have time with the mats, don't worry about it. Keep fishing, keep leveling up, get your masteries, and you'll be fine. All right, and it'll all pan out just fine. I'm just covering all of the bases for everybody who's interested, including people who want to take that challenge on or have the ability or the time to. So just kind of covering the bases for everybody. So that's going to be it for this video, and I will get back with more trainings. See you later.